Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. I'm Xander, and that is Keegan, and boy, was it a close one, huh? Actually, it wasn't too close for City, but in the end, but they did leave it down to the very end. We're going to go ahead and talk about our Champions League final match day of the league stage and our upcoming picks for the Premier League before the little mini break for, I believe it was FA Cup, right? Is that what the break is for? It's for some domestic league stuff, some domestic tournament
FA Cup,
stuff.
but also, I think Carabao Cup is also going to be played during the same FA Cup realm. A lot's going on at once. Liverpool's makeup games coming up also.
Yes. Yeah. Which, I guess we should do. Then that's when was that? Hold on. Let me make sure do I need to add that in here? No, it's not till the 12th. No, we'll cover that in the preview episode for match day 24. Right? 25? Hold on. Where are we? Match day 25. This is match day 24. But we'll go ahead and start with our Champions League. As I spoiled already, Manchester City did survive. They did manage to go through to the next round by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, did not expect Stuttgart to play so poorly at home. I mean, they got down 3-0 really quick, so that kind of solidified PSG in. And we were kind of looking at PSG, City, Brugge, Sporting, all those teams in the middle. But City, I mean, it was kind of nervy there for a little bit. And then finally in the second half, they broke away. But it seems like all the teams we expected at the beginning to go through ended up getting it done. Zagreb almost got it, though.
They did. I mean, they were very close. They did their part. It's just that the other results did not go their way across the board, basically. Yeah, no real. I agree. No real misses. I mean, no one that we would have been surefire is going through were bounced. Yeah. Stuttgart maybe a little bit just because they're Bundesliga, but they were. But yeah, it's Shakhtar maybe you could say, Bologna maybe, but everyone else that got bounced was not totally unsurprising.
The surprising one to me was Leipzig. I mean, they just played so poorly for so long, and they're actually doing pretty well domestically. So Leipzig only getting 3 points and 1 win is that one shocked me.
Yeah, the RB teams. It was not the performance that they would expect from that sort of large of an organization, But Brest definitely outperformed what we would think for them, and Lille as well. The two French sides doing much better than we would have expected. I mean, Lille getting 7th out of this whole table was not something that I had in the works.
No, I mean, it was really just the last 4. They win, loss, win. But 9 points out of 12 really propelled them up to 7th. So good on them. I mean, they're now sitting pretty with a bye. They could get a good draw here soon.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they would be in the range for a City matchup, though, which would be tough on them. That would be tough for them. But we'll go ahead and briefly cover the draws that did occur for the home and away knockouts. We've got Brest and PSG. I'm sorry, Brest. This is probably as far as you'll go. They could surprise us. I mean, they've surprised us thus far, but PSG is looking better. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to go either way. Club Brugge got Atalanta, so I don't expect a lot of scoring in that one. It's those sides were probably happy to draw each other, to be fair. Sporting got Dortmund, not who we would want to draw. I mean, you didn't draw City, which is good, but technically Dortmund drew Sporting, so they didn't like the matchup though. Bayern gets Celtic, so not that they needed the help, but now they get to play Celtic. Benfica and Monaco is an interesting matchup, I think. That is an interesting one. I'm looking forward to that. And then Feyenoord Milan, that's not a good look for Feyenoord. Juve and PSV, probably good for Juve. And then, of course, of all the teams that are in this stage, Man City and Real Madrid draw each other. I mean, it's
You
crazy.
knew it was going to happen. You knew it was.
Yeah.
UEFA, they have to. I mean, if it said anything, the UEFA president is sitting with the PSG owner and chairman whenever Man City and PSG played. Not anywhere near the City guys. So that tells you everything you need to know. Both teams, Real Madrid definitely in better domestic form. They're now 4 points clear in La Liga. And my whole take on the home and away is this is kind of that spot where you don't get as much rest. So you really have to start prioritizing domestic over Europe, over domestic cups. So that'll be like the real test here between these teams is how they manage. Like City, not done incredible in the domestic league. Prem, not doing well. Real Madrid's doing pretty well. So do you think there might be some of that like jigsawing the team around because you got to stay healthy for the weekend too?
Well, there's that, and you can update your roster for this going into this stage. So we'll probably see who's the striker? Marmouche. We'll probably see get added to the City side. Marmouche. But I don't know if anybody else beyond Marmouche is going to get in there. City's also missing they're missing 4 key players in this last match here. I mean, they're missing Grealish is injured, was not playing. Ake was not playing. I think not Leroy Sané. He hasn't been there forever. Doku wasn't playing, and there was one other one that I can't remember off the top of my head who wasn't playing.
A lot of attackers not playing. Then you have people like Stones, De Bruyne, who still seem to be on that can't quite get past 90% fitness,
65-minute limit or something.
Yeah, the cameos at the end of the match are fine. It worked to City's favor in the last couple of matches for De Bruyne and Stones. I think these home and away ones, the home side's first match will kind of determine how these play out. I'll go on record right now that the teams that win their home fixture in the first part, I think are going to go on to win the second leg. I just think it puts you on the front foot and you get a chance to actually kind of sit back and defend or play your kind of style away from home. I'm going on record. Wouldn't shock me if 6 of these 8 matchups end up being that way, where if you win the first leg at home, you're going to go on to win.
Bold pick. 6 out of 8 going double win. No goal difference.
We'll clip that in round of 16 when it inevitably comes true.
Now, which of the 6? Some of these you actually could probably pick. Like Bayern Munich, probably double win for Bayern. PSG, probably double win for PSG.
You got Juventus playing poorly in domestic league. They've drawn 13 times, and I think they're sitting 5th or 6th in the Serie A. So you're like, don't count out PSV.
I didn't say PSV yet. I said Bayern Munich and PSG.
But when you look at the names on here for the Tuesday the 11th, you're thinking, Juve, easy. Yeah. Dortmund's probably going to beat Sporting. So don't count out these teams that are doing really well against teams that aren't doing so well, even though their name is what their name is. You got to look below it. Got to look below it.
Speaking of which, we did have some of our best weeks in a while for the Champions League. You went 11-7. I went 12-6. 16 units for your boy here. That perfect pick up in the Atalanta-Barcelona draw certainly helped me out. You got a perfect pick in the draw for, who did I just say? Where'd it go?
Was it Bologna?
Bologna and Sporting, yeah. That 1-1 draw. We both had the draw, so good for us. But 1-1 was the proper pick.
Yeah, and that was the draw that kicked Zagreb out of the top 24. Sporting moved up because they were able to get a goal back. Zagreb tried their best. I mean, they go up 1-0, they draw, go up 2-1. It just wasn't. City didn't beat Brugge enough to get them into that last spot.
No, they really took the foot off the gas. Even after the second goal, they took the foot off the gas quite a bit. But after the third especially, City was like, let's listen. We've got a 2-goal lead. We know that we can lose these. Let's just play this one very safe. We did end up with Slovan Bratislava and Young Boys being totally pointless. Only one goal difference separated them, -20 and -21. Which is really bad. Young Boys only scored 3 times in the whole tournament. 3 goals in 8 matches.
Yeah, you're almost like losing 3-0. That's like a 3-0 clip almost every game.
And
And they
lost
lost 1-0 too. So it's like, boy, some of those must have been rough.
Yeah. And then Slovan Bratislava at least had 7 goals against 27 conceded. Not great. Salzburg got out of there with their one win. Same for Girona. But only a -8 goal difference for Girona. Well, that c'est la vie, Girona, even though you're Italian. Well, how would you? I don't know enough Italian to fake that.
Ciao.
Buon fortuna. Buon fortuna, Girona.
Sayonara.
Yes.
Sayonara, Girona.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll now move over to our picks for.
Whoa!
You gotta
stuff to get off your chest there, Zader?
I have a very fine a very fine cloth cover that I use to clean off screens, and I picked it the other day because I dropped on some Velcro. That's absolutely what I was talking about.
Right.
But our picks for match day 24 of the Premier League are now at hand. Let me get over to that screen. Starting up first, we've got Nottingham Forest and Brighton Hove Albion. Nottingham obviously coming off of a loss. Same for Brighton. Both these teams looking to bounce back here. Do you think either of them are going to get all 3 points?
I think Nottingham, they've got the chance. I think they know they have to. They've set the tone for the first 23 match weeks. We're a Champions League team. We want to stay there, and I think that even though Brighton are actually really good away from home,
I was going to say they're not at home, so be careful.
Yeah, I just think Nottingham is going to come out. Nuno, as you know from his history at Wolves, he doesn't take losses like that lightly. Like it's going to be a different team coming out. So I think they win 2-1. I think they'll get the resolve back and kind of get that mojo that they missed really against the whole game against Bournemouth.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a dispiriting match for Nottingham last time, and I have this as a 2-2 draw for Nottingham and Brighton because Brighton's not at home. They know that they can get points now. They're not at home. So I think they could go there. It's a pretty even match as far as units are concerned, even with it being a Nottingham Forest. They usually give about a half a unit for being at home. So, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'll say this. Usually in AA meetings, if you mess up, they say, hey, that's okay. Just don't go down the slippery slope. Nottingham, you were on an 8-game unbeaten run before Bournemouth. We all have bad days. But don't allow that one bad day to derail the entire back half of the season. Buck up. Get excited at home to beat the Seagulls, who, frankly, have been nothing but adequate for most of the season until recently away from home. So, what were they? What did we say they were called the last time?
Oh, the naughty trees. Is that it? Tricky trees.
No, it was the naughty trees. It was
tricky trees.
Yeah, the tricky trees. Get out there and be the tricky trees you can be.
That's right. You gotta, your classic jester, your trickster, your Lokis. We'll see. Hey, that kind of ties in with it a little bit, but let's not get into Nordic lore to Viking lore. Let's leave that where it is. Norse lore. That's what I was looking for. All right, on to Bournemouth and Liverpool. Bournemouth obviously coming as one of the hottest teams in the league right now. 4-1 victory, 5-0 victory in their last 2. They now get the leaders at home, not the champions. I'm not going to give them anything yet. In fact, I'm not even going to give them a win here. I think Bournemouth takes it. I think Bournemouth keeps rolling. 4-3. Just a barn burner, to bring back an old phrase. A barn burner of a match here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know that many goals. I have it 2-1. But Bournemouth and Liverpool each have the 2 out of 3 longest unbeaten streaks in the Premier League. Liverpool have 18. Bournemouth have 11. Arsenal's kind of sandwiched in the middle at 13. But Bournemouth, no one has gotten more points since match day 13 than Bournemouth. 25 points, 7 wins. Not even Liverpool has gotten the same amount of points as Bournemouth. I think they've got a shot because they've already beaten City and Arsenal at home. And I think they're trying to continue on that push.
And
if they beat Liverpool, they'll be the first team this season to hold a homestand versus the top 4.
Yeah, they are not scared, and they are firing on all cylinders offensively and defensively as well. They've only conceded 1 goal in the past 2 matches, so
yeah,
I think they got a shot. They're going to be terrible, obviously. Now that we've both picked them to win, but we didn't pick the same result, so they still got a shot. Then we go to Everton and Leicester City. I'll go let you start this one. Everton now has breathing room at the bottom of the table. Do you think that they can continue to progress? This is a very important match for both of these teams.
Yeah, I think Everton's been playing well. Leicester obviously played well against Tottenham. But again, what does that even mean as of this point in the season?
Seriously.
I think I'm going to give it to the home team. I think Everton win 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a really important. Leicester getting any points keeps them head above water.
Yeah.
But Everton, if they get a win, I mean, you're really creeping into the territory of safety.
Yeah.
So I think they get 26 points after this one and take it 2-1.
I'm right there with you. I've got it as a 1-0 victory for Everton. Leicester, I don't trust. I mean, I trusted them against Tottenham because Tottenham is obviously terrible at the moment. But I think it'll be just a very conservative match. I don't think that either team's going to be pressing too much because Leicester, like you said, like a point works for them. So I don't know that they're going to be stretching it too much. And even at a 1-0, deficit, you don't have to press too much to feel like you're still in that match. Near the end, you might get a little bit more action out of it, but I think that Everton does take it. And then we will move over to Ipswich Town and Southampton. Another very important match. If Southampton has any hope of progressing out of the relegation zone, which I don't think they have, it would be a win here. We have to get them started. An away win at Ipswich Town, who also will be fighting for their lives. I think that Ipswich gets it done, mainly because I want them to stay up, because I picked them to stay up. Not at the expense of my Wolves, obviously. But I think that they take this 2-1 for victory over Southampton. Southampton keeps it close, but not enough in the end.
Yeah, I have similar thinking. I think at the end, Ipswich get an extra additional goal to make it 3-1.
Yep.
But no team in the history of the Premier League has had lower points than Southampton at this stage. I don't think it gets any better. Ipswich, like we've kind of talked about, Southampton's in the zone where unless you go on a 6-game win streak, there's really no hope for your season. Ipswich, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but can they make it there? This win gets them closer, 3-1 at home.
3-1. Yeah, and it's tight there at the bottom, especially if Leicester wins against Everton. They'll be at 20, Ipswich will be at 19. My Wolves, we'll see. Everton 23. It's tight. It is a contest there at the bottom of the table. This weekend will tell a lot for that before the little mini break. Then we go to Newcastle and Fulham. Newcastle, once riding so high, they're now back in the right direction after losing to Bournemouth. But, as a win over Southampton, more of a moral victory than anything else. Fulham still bouncing around there after having their unbeaten streak snapped back in Matchday 21. How do you think this one goes with Newcastle hosting?
I think both these teams are pretty similar in the way they want to play. They want to get it out to the wings and use their wingers to really attack the left back, right back, center back combos. But they also want to defend really well and be tight knit.
Yeah.
So I think their similar styles are going to clash a lot in this one. I think it'll be low scoring, 1-1. I think Newcastle not quite back on the saddle. But Fulham, they know they got to start getting some points out of these games. So I think they get a point.
I'll take your 1-1 and knock it down a peg. 0-0 was my pick here. I think that
Bagely bagel.
Yeah, double bagel here. Newcastle, they'll want to press a little bit more just because they're so close to being eligible for the Champions League, which I believe they had last season. Yes, they were in the Champions League last season, right?
No, Aston Villa knocked him out.
Oh, that's right.
It was Liverpool, Arsenal, City, and Aston Villa.
No, that was
Newcastle
for this season. Were they in it last season? Or are they just trying to get in there? I can't remember now off the top of my head.
Let's see. Yeah, so they were in it last year. You're correct.
Okay.
They had qualified the year before.
Yeah, so they've tasted the fine wines of Europe, and they want to get back there, I'm sure. And I just don't think they get it done here. I think that Fulham is, they're just puttering along there. They're down in 10th. I think they're like, okay, let's do what we can the rest of the season, but staying top half is good monetarily. Then we'll move over to my Wolves hosting Aston Villa. At least it's not Arsenal, I guess. But I don't think that we have much of a shot in this. Aston Villa unbeaten in, what is this? They're unbeaten in 5. Having come off of this draw against West Ham and Arsenal prior to that. I don't think we get anything out of this. I think it's a 2-0 victory for Aston Villa. And I think we stay in that relegation zone.
I'm going to go units play. I think 2-1 Wolves.
Oh.
I think they were really just done hard by that last match. That second red, just poor.
Yeah.
And I think they take that and they get some motivation because I'm not sure where else they're going to get it this season. So I think they take it 2-1 and they really put the pressure on Leicester.
Let's see. For you've got Wolves winning, you've got Ipswich winning, and
Leicester losing, and Everton.
You have Leicester losing, so that will put Leicester down into the bottom. Hold on. What's the spread here for goal difference?
Ipswich will still be
Ipswich will be 18th, Wolves 17th, and Leicester 17th. With Everton getting up to 26. So that would be almost a 3-team race for the last spot, but we'll see how Everton finishes out the season. Then we go to Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur, with the doom and gloom that shrouds Tottenham. They get out of their home stadium and go over to Brentford. What do you think happens here?
I think Brentford win 3-1.
Wow, 3-1.
I don't think it gets any easier for Postecoglou. I mean, they're doing really well in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Doing really well in the domestic cups. But Premier League, I just don't think Brentford have much more opportunity to come from this match than Tottenham do. Tottenham, It's like we're just scraping to get away from the bottom. Brentford is like, we actually still have a shot to play for top 9, top 8, top 7 even.
Yeah.
So I think they get it done 3-1 at home. They've been pretty decent at home. Tottenham, I mean, they've just been so bad, riddled with injury. I don't think it changes.
Top 7?
I think Brentford will clearly be the more motivated side.
I don't know about top 7. I mean, they're 9 points out of 7th right now with Bournemouth. I guess
you get on a win streak, anything can happen.
You can get on a win streak. I haven't looked at Brentford's schedule. I don't know how it's shaping up here for the last
when they're playing bottom feeders like Tottenham right now, I mean, They should be getting these dubs.
Boy, at the beginning of the season, would you imagine of saying the bottom feeders like Tottenham? No, you wouldn't have. It's crazy. Then we'll go over to Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. I have Brentford winning as well. I have them winning 1-0. Crystal Palace going to Manchester United's Old Trafford. And I think that Crystal Palace takes full honors here. They lost to Brentford last week, but prior to that, they've been looking up the past couple match days. And I think that they returned to form here, especially with that defense that they've been using. Shutouts in some recent matches, only conceding, prior to last week, they'd only conceded 2 goals in 5 matches. So even now, it's 4 goals in 6 matches, which is nothing to sneeze at. So I think that they shut out Manchester United. I think they take it 2-0 at Old Trafford.
Well, I'm going to change my Pikarooski to 3-0.
Okay.
No, I'm going to go 1-0. 1-0 final. I do think United, they've been getting lucky as of late in the Prem. I mean, their last match, literally a deflection won them all 3 points. Mm-hmm. I think Crystal Palace is a bit more disciplined. I think they can play a better game. Besides their last loss, they're on good form, and they smell blood. They win this, they go above Man U, and I think they take it.
Yeah, I think it's simple as that. And then to the match of the week, we've got Arsenal hosting Manchester City. I'll let you lead this one off.
Yeah, this one, really important one for both teams. Arsenal won 1-0 last season. They haven't won consecutive home games against City since like 05 to 08. They won 4 in a row. It's going to be, I don't know, City are winless in their last 3 against Arsenal, so I think there is some psychological thing to get over. But I think City can do it. I'm going to go 3-1.
Wow.
I think they realize the magnitude of the match. City are unbeaten in 6 straight Premier League games.
Yeah.
So
I was just about to
continue that.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, we've ragged on City so long just because, comparing current performance versus previous seasons, it's not good. But yeah, they're unbeaten in 6, with 4 of those being outright wins. So they have righted the ship in that regard.
Here's a stat I'm loving. City have lost just 1 game in their last 40 Prem games played in January or beginning of February.
Wow.
So 40 straight, they are unbeaten in 39 of those. So, I mean, this really is when City the engine starts purring. Yeah. We start moving.
Yeah, we've come a long way since their 4 straight losses there in November. That's crazy. Into December. 4 straight losses. That's nuts. They lost 6 out of 8 at one point. That's crazy. I mean, yeah, but Arsenal's tough. They're not giving up a lot of goals right now, and they're not scoring much either. And City, you can't trust them to score a lot of goals at the moment. So I think it's a 1-1 draw. I think that City goes in. I think that they'll take a 1-1 draw. They would like to have more. If they can get the full 3, don't look now. Don't look now. Yeah. Especially if Liverpool loses to Bournemouth. Don't look now. Especially with that statistic. But we're not even gonna say any more than that. But don't look now. Then we'll go to Chelsea and West Ham United to wrap up the weekend. Actually, I believe this is on Monday. Yeah, on Monday. Chelsea and West Ham. I think Chelsea wins it pretty easy. I think they take it 3-1. West Ham, not great at the moment. Not great at the moment. They're 1 win out of the last 5, and then they just drew Aston Villa last match day. But Chelsea, they're bouncing around a little bit, but I think they get it back here. They had to play City last week at the Etihad, so that's tough. I think they bounce back on this one and take it 3-1 themselves.
I'm going 2-2.
Really?
I think West Ham get a draw. I think Chelsea, we've seen them when they lose those big games, kind of take another stumble the next 1 or 2. Yeah. So I think that it happens again. And their form has not been good outside of their win right before the City match. So I think West Ham's crawling out. They've gotten 4 points out of their last 9. That was more than they had gotten in a long time. So I think they get another 1 point here against a good side.
Yeah. And you know what? If that happens and Bournemouth wins, Chelsea will be out of Europe in total. It'll be Bournemouth up in there. Interesting. All right, but that brings us to the end of our Matchday 24 predictions. Anything you want to say wrapping it up here?
No, I mean, mentioned it kind of at the beginning. Like the schedule's getting tight, and I feel like we've been saying that since end of October. It's unreal how tight the schedule feels this year compared to last season or even the season before. So you really don't know what's going to happen with some of these teams when apparently Tottenham has 12 fit senior players. City at one point had like 11 fit senior players. So if teams start hitting the IR here, it's going to be interesting to see how that affects their position because we're both kind of like Liverpool lose a couple of key players. Like their season could derail. Yeah. Teams are smelling blood. They're ready to move. So you just got to watch out for that, especially in these kind of match weeks in between Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup, all that.
Yeah, we're hitting crunch time in several tournaments at the same time. So we'll see how that all works out. But until we do, why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer, and we'll see you on the other side. Adios.